Hello, 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 hello. We are back on another Wednesday with I Am and More, journeying through to more. If you don't know me or you're new to this channel, my name is Jamila Moore. I am the visionary of I Am and More, a leadership and business development firm where I work with new and aspiring and emerging entrepreneurs on building out profitable businesses, monetizing their skills and their knowledge, and legally protecting their skills and knowledge. And Wednesdays, this is the day where I come and we kind of talk about all the back end stuff, all the mindset stuff that has to happen for us to lead successful businesses and ultimately successful lives. And today you are in for a treat. Let me stop. I got all my hand motions here. That's how excited I am about this treat. So I'm going to put my hand down. We have with us the Shirley King. She is a leadership and development coach. She is an employee belonging alchemist, an inner purpose and power strategist for accomplished and successful women. She has over 20 years of leading award-winning HR teams. She's a partner in a whole other business. I know you're trying to keep up with Shirley. Me too. It's okay. We'll get there. She's a partner with Women and Alignment, a faith and prayer-based business where they really work on the teachings of showing up as the best you in life. And if that's not enough, she has decorations that you need to go to Life on Power and read about. Because if we read about them, we'll be here all night. And she is a mother, resident of Florida. And I just want us to drop some fire in the chat as we welcome the Shirley King to the Journey to More. Shirley, we are so excited to have you. How are you?
I am wonderful. So glad to be here with you, Jamila, and your guest. I am excited.
Listen, this topic is real. Worth the wait, believe bigger. I'm waiting for some stuff right now, and I love the microwave. I love the microwave. She already about to coach me on my microwave life that I love.
Yes, yes.
All right, so let me read you this quote, and I want to hear your thoughts about it.
Okay.
Patience is not the ability to wait, but the ability to keep a good attitude while waiting. What does that mean to you?
It means that I'm going to focus. I'm not going to focus on waiting, but I'm going to focus on what I'm waiting for.
Mm.
That's our challenge. We'll focus on the act of waiting instead of what we're waiting for. Because in reality, I have an expectation I'm going to get it. So there is an if there's an expectancy in it, then the wait is not as bad as I think. I'm just too focused on that. And my hope determines my expectation. I have hope. The God I serve says I should have hope. So I believe that I'm going to receive exactly what I'm waiting for. That's what I believe. And that's what turns that trigger in waiting. What do I believe? Do I believe in waiting in vain?
No. I already, like, somebody needs to be writing this gem in the chat right now, because she said the problem that we're having with the wait is that we're focused on the process instead of the belief. Okay, I'm sorry I interrupted you. Keep going, Shirley.
It's just instead of what we're waiting for. If you're waiting for that opportunity that you have worked hard for, that you have, even if you've tried it 3, 4, 5 times, because you do know sometimes that has to be done for it to get to a point where it's ready for delivery, right? If you know that that client, you know that that particular account, you know that whatever that proposal is, that it is yours. If you know that, if you expect that, then you're excited in the middle of that wait because
Listen,
it happens suddenly.
listen,
That
drop expect in the chat. They should be dropping expect in the chat. If you needed a reminder, the only thing you need to remember about tonight is I'm expecting. Listen, this is I'm
I'm
too excited.
expecting.
I can't even let you finish your sentences. I'm too excited about all of the gems that you're dropping. Okay. Can I ask another question?
You can.
Okay, all right. So we talked about me being the lover of a microwave. I like elevators. I really don't like steps. What is the benefit of waiting?
Insight.
Mm,
Because when I wait, even when I did something over and over again, I began to perfect it. It's a strategy that I'm going to be able to use for the next part of that journey. It is insight. I'm getting that insight and I'm developing while I'm waiting until the suddenly happen. So while I'm waiting, I'm focused on consistency in my mindset. So I learned consistency. I learned to really not lean in on, that I don't like what I'm doing. I'm just going to do it because it's the part of the goal that I'm waiting for. I'm just going to be consistent. That's my
mm.
belief. So I want to ask your guest, what do you believe?
Are you out here already doing some leadership and development coaching? You are already out here doing leadership and development coaching. What are you believing? Huh? I'm waiting to see some answers in the chat. It's quiet. This is not a night to be quiet. And one of the keys that you said is insight is the gift that we receive as we wait on the suddenly. And I don't know about you, but in my life, even though I like my microwave and the elevator, I have found that if I wait and the person that is produced during the wait usually yields an outcome that's bigger, larger than what I could have ever imagined.
Usually. You
Mm,
I've gotten to a point where I reframe everything I have to wait for. Whether it's a proposal I'm waiting for the response on or being delayed in traffic. I get excited when I'm delayed in traffic. I don't get upset because whatever it is that's trying to hold me back from that big thing is gonna be big. I want to know what I'm being held back from what I'm where I'm going to and what's waiting that I didn't expect I was going to see. So now I'm in expectancy, whatever that is. Maybe it is if it's a networking event, maybe it's that one person I'm going to need to connect to grow my influence and my impact. But it's going to be something. I'm always expecting that big thing, especially when I'm delayed.
mm. So, what I'm hearing you say is we should start to smile and get glad as we wait because the wait means that we are probably or likely walking into a destiny moment.
Probably or likely.
Mm, mm. I don't want to miss any of my destiny moments. Do you want to miss any of your destiny moments? Okay. Okay.
Yep.
And so, we're both entrepreneurs. And you've been out here for many, many, many years. What advice do you have to entrepreneurs as they launch their businesses and step into new arenas? Because one of the things that I find is we have so many people out here telling them, quit your job, make $1 million in three weeks, 3 months. All it takes is that one ebook. What do you tell them when they're like, my ebook sold 10 copies? What are you talking about, sir? Ma'am?
Listen, do not quit your job because you're excited about the idea that God gave you.
Mm,
Do not quit your job. I've been doing this for a little while, but that 20 years I've been doing, I just left April 30th, 2021. However, I was a parallelpreneur before I left. That means I was an entrepreneur. I was making things happen and delivering results for my silent investor. And then I went home and worked on my business. And I didn't leave until the opportunity came for me to leave. And guess what? Because I waited so well and I was committed to the vision that God gave me, and I didn't allow the fact that I was also an entrepreneur stop me. He set that thing up so pretty. I had no reason to say yes to the offer they gave me to leave.
Mm. So, because you built your business while working, so you waited for the right time, they offered you something you couldn't even imagine to even go out and do business full time.
Absolutely.
Wow.
But I
Wow.
waited. It's that wait. If I was quick and excited, I don't know we'd be here right now.
So, would you say, how do people build discernment or leaning into their sixth sense or figuring out how to manage the moment, right? Because even as you're waiting, there will be a moment where you have to decide whether or not it's time to jump for the bigger.
That moment is when it's not about being excited. I'm going to say it again. It's not about being excited. As a matter of fact, that particular moment is when you will feel the very most agitated and
Mm.
discontent. Because I had what I learned is that when that happened, my calling simply began to become agitated with me putting it in a box because I was leaning on my skills more because as an entrepreneur, there were learned skills. That 20 plus years are things there's experience that I had that whereas I was skillful at. But that calling that they're not paying me for was trying to really soar. And that's when I began to be agitated. I was so agitated that I had to pray to keep my senses with people at in the office. And then all of a sudden, bam, they offered me something I could not say no to leave.
Mm.
It wasn't excitement. You hear what I say? It wasn't excitement. I was agitated and I didn't have a reason to put with that agitation. Now, I did some work. I knew that was God, but I knew it was because I need like my calling and my purpose. They trying to run my faith, calling, and purpose. They trying to run. But right now I got to keep them tied up and chained up and only work on them part time. And I wasn't able to do that any longer. So God, at the right time, God gave me an opportunity. But I waited before the opportunity came, and I was never agitated until then.
Listen, I people need to connect with you and know how to get their leadership and development coaching and all of those different things because you are dropping so many gems. And for the guests that are here right now, this is an opportune time for you to ask questions because we all have had the experience of having to wait on something, right? And then believing bigger for or believing for more as we are waiting.
Yes.
It I think about, can you tell me about a time outside of entrepreneurship where you were in the middle of a wait, but you had an internal transformation that reshaped what it was that you were actually waiting on?
Yeah, before entrepreneurship, so I talked about that point where you're excited and then you begin to grow something. Then I got to the point where I was agitated. But when I got excited, I clearly knew that I needed a strategy for it. And I needed to create something. I couldn't just leave. And so I got a business coach that knew God and that could interpret scripture with me. So, not a business coach that was going to tell me to leave, but a business coach that was going to help me, who also had left corporate America and she had reached heights that I had not reached. She was a global leader and got
Mm,
called out of the corporate environment. When I met her, it was by happenstance. I saw her online and someone knew her and connected me to her. And so she was able to walk me through that feeling that, when God has you dreaming and believing for bigger and more, you begin really to use that where you are first.
Mm.
And then when you've done enough there, that's when he'll call you out.
Okay. Okay. Let me breathe. So, two keys. You have to practice being the person for the thing that you want. So, let's just say, for instance, when I wanted to be an attorney, what that meant was like I had to do certain things in terms of honing my craft. I had to study. I had to become that person that would be that great attorney before I ever got to that destination.
Yes.
The second thing that I heard you say was that you didn't sit down and sit still during the wait. You got with the right coach and got strategy during the wait. I
Yeah.
hope I can say it again how I just heard it, because I think that's a gem that needs to be dropped in the chat. This is the perfect time for folks to ask questions, because we got the leadership and development coach, the purpose and passion strategist right here.
Yes.
So we cannot sit still while we wait. We have to get the right strategy and right coaching and manage the weight. Ooh.
That's how I managed the weight. I had someone that had done it all before, so I had speed.
Mm.
She so I knew how to do it because she literally shared what she did and how she did it. And so this inner purpose and strategist coach, I began to do that while I was there. So I began to see the people that work for me as coaching clients. So they got all that for free.
You know, sometimes they say your purpose is what you will do for free. And so you practice your purpose and sold into the lives of others until you were able to monetize your skills. Mm.
Absolutely.
Listen, I'm Jamila Moore. This is Shirley King. I am an attorney and business strategist. And if you are sitting here and you're like, I think I'm interested in entrepreneurship, go to my website right now and book a free consultation. Right? If you're a person and you are staying on your corporate job, but you're like, I need some support with the weight and kind of framing my belief to
Mhm.
believe bigger, you need to head on over to Shirley King at Life on Power and set up that consultation. Or at least follow her, because sometimes the wait means getting as much information as we can until we're able and ready to get the right coach.
That's
Can
so
you
pivotal.
can
That's
you
so
talk to
pivotal.
me about how you determined that that lady was the right coach for you? Because I want this to be helpful for people, in a sense that, like, there's so many people saying so much to us. How do we
Mhm.
know saying the right stuff?
What I knew was that God had not told me to leave my corporate work. He had not told me to do that. Well, Lord, how am I going to do this? Because I am feeling that I need to do something. You've given me this. How am I going to do that? So who else do I know have done that? So I looked at people locally, people I knew. There's no one I knew that was doing it like that or doing it
Mhm.
fully. You had someone that might have been working and they might do a little something here and there, but I needed to do both. Who can I find to do that? And I asked the Lord to connect me with someone because at this point I don't have anybody. And the algorithm for social media somehow I was looking at her do a photo shoot. Didn't know who she was, but it was her birthday. I looked at her bio and I looked at she was in Essence magazine named as a top woman at probably 4 years prior to that. Looking at all of that, right? And I went, oh, that's her. But how do I get to her? So it was her birthday, and one of my mentees said, "Happy birthday," and she responded, "Thank you, love." She knows her. I
Mm.
called her and I said, I need to connect with her. About 4 hours later, I was on a 1 hour call with her and we began to work. We began to work together within the next 30 days. So what did I do first? God, you gave me this gift. You gave me, you put this inside me when I was born. Now you're telling me I need to walk in it and lean in it. I need your help. And that is how I discovered her. We worked for an entire 12 months. My colors, everything you see, we prayed about together.
So what you're saying is one of the things that kind of mess us up and trip us up during the wait is that we don't connect with our source because we're both Christian believers. So our source is God. We need to connect with our source to help lead, guide, and direct us on who to connect with so that we can produce what's down on the inside of us.
Yes.
And I think that's so important because so many times you hear from motivational speakers, like, when you pass on, what are they going to say about you? And I just feel in this moment that somebody listening to this broadcast has something down on the inside of them that another person is waiting on for their success. What if that coach didn't show up? What if she stayed in corporate America too long? Shirley wouldn't have gotten the help that she needed.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And let's talk about belief again, Jamila. So I knew for my, whatever your spirituality is, if you know that you've been called to do something and you believe it. So I know that God gave me the mandate, and I believe that He would give me the resources in order to deliver the mandate.
Let's unpack that because most people will say, I believe, I think it. But what does belief look like in action?
It looks like that expectation of me looking for her and not looking at her on social media saying, nah, that can't be somebody that I'm called to because I don't already know her. That's what that look. I asked for it, but I expected and believed I was going to get it. I needed someone who did this corporate thing at a particular level because my role was it was a role that kept me busy. It was an aggressive role. So I needed someone who knew about doing that and then walking in their calling and purpose too. I just didn't need some anybody. I needed someone who understood that. And that's when that is when I found her. I believed that he was going to give me exactly what I wanted.
So, what I'm hearing and what probably needs to be a key for the audience, type this in the chat, write this down in a journal or something that you actually have to believe and do something that goes towards that belief. So, believe and go on Google, believe and start writing out the vision,
Yes.
believe and, set up an initial consultation with someone that you think is aligned with your values and can deliver what it is that you're asking for. That is one of the keys that we have to use while we're waiting. But Shirley, I'm about to tell you this right now. I'm probably about to step on somebody's toes.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. A lot of times we believe for bigger, but we don't want to do the work that is required to get that thing. What do we do with that? What do we do when we don't want to do the work?
That's called consistency. Most of us don't want to do the work all the time. But consistency means that these goals that I'm believing in and this bigger that I'm believing for, I can't do it without doing the things that I don't like to do, without doing the work that I don't want to do. So the only thing I can focus on is consistency. That's it.
Listen, I heard TD Jake say this last week. He said most people don't know what is required to be great. And so they give up in the moment. They don't believe bigger and they don't withstand the wait because they don't want to do the things that they don't like. They don't want to do the things that they don't want to do. And believing bigger, going after more, being the best version of yourself means getting your hands dirty and doing what you don't want to do.
Ooh.
People do not believe this about me, but I tell the story about I am a shy girl that like to play in the background. That's my preference. But my calling, my believing bigger is on the other side of me showing up and having conversations like these so that other people can get what they need to go and grow where they need to go.
And they can only do it with you. 7 billion people on this earth, more than that now, but about 7 billion people or more on this earth. Everybody's assigned to somebody.
Mm.
And it makes me sad to know that if I thought that because I was working in corporate America and I had that particular role that I could not do it, there would be the hundreds of people that I've connected with since then. They wouldn't have what they have now because there's something they can only get from me.
So you're saying we have to believe bigger and withstand the weight because there's somebody else that needs something that's down on the inside of us. And what that means is you gotta get out of the state of only thinking about self.
Yes.
And we don't like to use this term, but sometimes we just self-absorbed. We want what we want when we want it. And so I don't want to go through the process of waiting. If they're assigned to me, sorry for you. Like, what's going on? I see Susan Bailey in the comments saying everybody is assigned to somebody. She's a former teacher, so she was assigned to hundreds of kids' lives.
Everybody has a portion. Everybody has a portion. I have a portion of people that I'm assigned to that if they don't show up, I don't get it. I heard we just talked about my business coach mentor, my very first one. And I've had one ever since. But for various reasons, I've had a business coach for various reasons since then. But if they had not shown up, I would not be here because my strategy wouldn't be as tight as it is. Even my belief in my business, sometimes my business coaches believe more in the business than I do because I'm human. And some days this thing just gets heavy. But they see the vision because they were called to be a business coach. And even that, God only calls me to those that's going to see the vision, not those that just wants the paycheck. He calls me to those business coaches that sees the vision and they love the vision and they support the vision.
Listen, you hit on a key that I don't want to gloss over because we can tell you all of these strategies. We can tell you to believe. We can tell you to have strategies. We can tell you to get a coach. But what do we do on those days where you are like, forget it? I'm over it. I'm done. It's too much. So and so need me, but so and so can't get me. You know, I call them adult temper tantrums.
Mm-hmm.
You throw that adult temper tantrum in. How do you get back up and believe?
You have to have your inner circle, people that you can rely on. You have to have that because you're not going to be able to do it on your own. Trying to do it on your own, you know how you're trying to come out of that sinking mud. When the more you try to come out, is bringing you down. But when you get to that point, I had it today, y'all. Midday today, I had to make a phone call because I understood that if I didn't come out of it, it was only going to get worse. That happens. So your inner circle, those people that, and that's why you need to be in things like masterminds, coaching groups, some kind of professional associations, whatever it is, where there are people, because sometimes your friends don't understand that if they're not doing that type of work.
So often we try to go at it alone. And the reality is, sometimes we need our friends, family, loved ones to come in and have faith for us. I remember when I was finishing up affirmations for transformation, I had two friends that
Mhm.
were relentless at asking me, Jam, is the book finished yet? Jam, is the book finished yet? And I'm like, it's coming. I got a lot going on. Like, but it kept me going.
Yeah.
And I would add to that, actually telling people things and putting things out adds another level of accountability that makes you show up. When I
Yes.
thought about monetize your skills, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do a masterclass. I'm gonna do a masterclass. I was causing the wait. Let's talk, like I was causing the wait at that point. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Then one person, yeah, I think I'm gonna do it on May 4th. Bet I'm writing the date down. I'm not missing this. And I was like, oh shoot.
Isn't that you felt accountable, right? Like now I'm accountable to somebody. So I got to do something on May 4th.
Listen, it was so real. I got my behind together and now I'm able, like, I'm doing another one tomorrow.
Yes.
Right. And literally, there are people that needed what I had to teach them. Right. They're not, because no one was giving them this value in the market. I had to get over myself, get out of the way, and believe bigger. Now, we try and keep these short. People got things to do. Do you have any last minute words, thoughts, or comments as it relates to worth the wait and believing bigger?
Use waiting as your power up. Use it as your extension cord time with expectancy. You can't be in power up mode and not expect for it not to go from empty to midpoint to full. I know we want empty to full, but it normally has a process of empty, midpoint to full.
Shirley, I thank you for believing bigger, or taking the step to leave your job, or taking that opportunity. 'Cause everybody don't take that opportunity. They still stay because
Mhm.
it's comfortable and it's what you know. But
Yeah.
once you move from that space of like, I know something is there, to I'm expecting and I'm taking steps to get the thing, there is so much more on the other side of that that you can't even imagine. And
More.
we don't we're scared. I get it. We are designed to think in fear. Like, we literally just go, oh man, fear. I can't do this. But today, I hope that someone is taking this away and leaving with the thought of, I gotta show up for me. And when I show up for me, it's because I need it and somebody else
Yeah.
needs it too. And it's so funny. The first time I ever met Shirley, I said, "Hey, you shared my mom's name," and she's right here saying these are soul searching words,
Yeah.
and these are divine disruptions to pull more greatness out of us.
That part. It's not just more money. It is the people that you become connected with when you decide to do so, that have what you need, that give you speed. It's the people that are going to, man, support you like you have never seen before, because they've been looking for someone that has what you have. And sometimes it's not someone you're coaching, it's a colleague.
Right. And so we have to stop downplaying showing up even at our job,
Yeah.
and practicing until we get to bigger. You think Kobe goes out there and, I mean, Kobe went out there and just made the shot? No, he practiced that. When he missed the shot, he stayed late and he practiced that. And so we have to be willing to do the work during the wait. Work during the wait.
That's getting your reps up. Getting your reps up. They before I left, they knew me as the person that would you can knock on her door and man, she would get your life right.
So, I said probably like 5 minutes ago, this was the final thought, but we can't even finish this. Are there any questions from the audience before we end this? I see some comments. Wow, use that time as an extension. The gift of time from the Lord as He makes Hold on, hold. I had to pull that back. We can't sit that right there. The gift of the wait is the gift of time as the Lord makes preparation. Susan, stop it.
All right, Susan. Mm-hmm.
If we look at it just like you said, how you started, the insight, and say, I am gifted with this time because bigger is on the way.
Yes. Yes. Mm. Restoration and winning season run side by side, people. That's that wait time. When Susan said that's an extension, because he'll restore what you thought you didn't get. Why are you in your winning season? Side by side.
Listen, if this blessed you, touched you, like, share, tag this post. Even when it's over, tag somebody in the comments that could benefit from hearing this. Subscribe to my YouTube channel because it's more where this is coming from. You heard what Shirley had? Shirley got like 15 businesses, 3 degrees and certificates, and I can't even name it. So she got to come back. Because we have other stuff to talk about as it relates to the journey of more. We're doing it. You can too. Decide today to get up and be you. And practice until you can perfect it. Have courage until you build the confidence. I'm gonna have to wrap this up because if not, we're gonna go all night. This is for real. Final thought, Shirley, for real.
Believe in you first. You have everything that you need. Everything else is just support. Get your reps up, your strategy, and believe, instead of believing in how hard it is, believe in what God believes about you.
Somebody put that in the chat. Believe in what God believes about you.
I gotta say this, Jamila.
Say it.
Like your audience is the first seeing this. Like I keep a journal in front of me because I'm always getting these things. What he said when I was coaching someone today is that you believe what I transferred to that person was you're focused on how you're gonna feel while you're doing the hard thing instead of focus on how God feels about you. I can't even take credit for that. I can't even take credit for that.
We're going to let that marinate. We're going to let it settle. I will be back here in 2 weeks with the more Nikki Williams, another attorney. Only 2% of attorneys are Black women. And there will be 2 on this channel in 2 weeks talking about the rise and all that comes, the weight and overcoming the overwhelm of when you get to bigger. That's it, y'all. That's all we got for you today. Thank you for tuning in. Like, share, tag the broadcast, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Take care.
Bye. Good night.